So what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
I'm trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You know I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. Miseducation and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We are coming to you live here at lifestyleradio.ca, and I'm your host, Al Graham. Tonight I am joint hostless. I don't have a joint host. Tonight, the scheduled one was Debbie Stoll-Skiffen, but she was unable to make it. I know that Debbie has been very, very busy, and actually some of the stuff that she's been involved in is going to be part of our news. So not only am I without a joint host, but I'm also without my trusty vapor bong and my e-nail. Why? Because starting tonight and moving forward, the Pace Radio Show has got itself a new home, but I'm going to get into that as the night progresses. Let's see. So with Debbie away, and with me, and it's just me and my guest, a person and a patient who helps other patients, but also has also taken his grassroots advocacy and turned it into a business for him and his family. But before I introduce him, I'm going to talk a little bit of news. So Debbie is involved with the Maritimers United for Medical Marijuana, and they have spoken out in the local paper down there, and they are criticizing the recent raids in the city of St. John's. 6 dispensaries were raided by the officers in the city. 12 people have been charged with possession of marijuana for the purpose of trafficking, echoing earlier raids that have happened in Halifax, Toronto, and other places around the country. The group said that on Wednesday in the news release that they have taken a signal from the chief down there that he said it wasn't a big priority for the force. But unfortunately, it seems like he's jumping onto the bandwagon like the rest of the country. He's also... the police turns around and he says that they have to enforce the law, and they believe that it's expected, the citizens expect them to do that. And they're waiting on the Liberal government to come out with the legalization rules and laws so they know where to go with things. But so it's good to see the advocacy, the groups getting out there, speaking out, getting into the press, and having their voices heard. So that's just shows that the more you speak up, and as the song and our theme song says, people need to speak up, and it's good every time that you can see something like this happen. All right, from there, we're going to move on to we're not moving on to our guests. We're going to move on to some free stuff. Can't forget, we got some free stuff here, free educational information, courtesy of Marco Renda, Treating Yourself magazine. Everybody knows about Treating Yourself. We've got magazines to give away. We've got DVDs of the expos. The one that I'm giving away right now is a DVD pack that contains 6 discs. It covers everything from the guest speakers to the Global Marijuana Music Awards, comedy, vendors, all the stuff that was going on the floor. It's a great thing to watch, and it's good to see where right now we're getting more and more of these events around, especially around the city of Toronto. I know there's one in April and one in May this year. And the Treating Yourself at Expo, that's on this DVD, was one of the first ones that was around. So it's good to see where things started out in the beginning. So there's that. I got posters, Ivan Arts posters, why not posters, where it shows things where the world is being destroyed by oil, for example, or pollution on the top part, and then the bottom part it has things that why can't things be done with hemp, and it shows things more in a green matter, and he's got a lot of that. It's a lot of questions, and we've got basically there's a poster here at this new location. It's almost like wallpapering. It's really good. So, okay, yeah, as far as free stuff. Oh, I also want to let you know too that we're going to try something here, and that's going to allow people to call in and ask a question. You can call 1-323-795-2420. Gotta love the 420 on the end. Again, that's 1-323-795-2420. And or you can just call in on Skype, Lifestyle Radio, all one word. Just do a search there, and I'm sure it'll show up, and you can give us a call. Alrighty, from there, from news, free stuff, so call. I think it's about time we introduce our guest. And so at this time, I'd like to welcome the person described as someone who likes to help patients, is a patient himself, and has taken his grassroots advocacy and turned it into a business. I'd like to welcome Wayne Matheson to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Wayne.
Hello, thanks for having me here, Al.
Well, we have, as I mentioned, we have a new home here for the Pace Radio Show. And I'd like to thank Wayne for allowing us to actually move the radio show and everything here into his store.
Yeah, you got a nice little setup here. I didn't give you a huge space. You've done a lot with it.
I should mention the store, CannaDaze. It's here in Campbellford, part of the downtown. Campbellford is split with a river, so we are on the west side, and we're at 19 Bridge Street, and we are sitting right in the front window of the store, are we not?
Yes, we are. We're right in the front window. We can see the traffic going by.
Yeah, the traffic, the weather, and as people walk by and they wave at us.
Yeah, we've had a few people making 420 signs with their hands and blowing fake joints at us.
So it's it's going to be good. We have further plans that we want to do with this, but tonight is a good first test run to see how everything's going to go before we look at expanding.
Yeah, I think you got a really good setup here, and hopefully we can get some other equipment in here and get some multiple mics going and some street side engagement with people walking by or whatever the case may be.
Sort of like a speaker's corner.
Yeah, that would be great if we could do a cannabis speaker's corner. Yeah,
right out on the street here, which is one of our main streets, and it's a highway actually. It goes by. All right, well, let's. We've got a little bit there from you. But to move on a little bit, I want to break things down some, okay? As people know, we're in a store here, and you're our guest. But can you quickly tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into more depth as we go along during the show?
Quickly, okay.
Not that quick.
Well, as many of the longtime listeners know, I'm the host of the 420 Cannabis Day events in Peterborough for the past 7 years, where the Pace Radio Show has done some live feeds from and has participated in with their little booth there since day one. So we do that. We reach out to patients as much as we can out of, we've been traveling to flea markets over the last couple of years and just reaching out to public that way. Now we have the store and a more comfortable location where patients can actually come to us. We haven't given up the flea market yet. We're still doing that because it allows us to be in an environment where we can talk to people who wouldn't come into my store normally. So it's really nice down there to be able to, even if you're not making any money through the head shop, it's the connection with the people makes it worth it.
Correct, exactly. Now, I mentioned you're also a patient as well, and I got some questions for you on that as well as your medicinal stuff. But would you say that you're a cannabis advocate that has taken a grassroots approach that has turned that grassroots approach into a business?
Yeah, well, I do have 3 kids that live with me at home and 2 that don't. So, and I had to give up carpentry due to my illness. I wasn't able to physically handle the job anymore. So, I'm a strong believer in legalization of marijuana for medical uses and industrial uses. And I just kind of found myself slipping deeper and deeper into the movement. and it started costing me a lot of money. Hosting these events costs money, printing T-shirts, giving stuff away here and there to try to get people interested, and it just turned into I need to start drawing some money in some other way to be able to fund these things and keep supporting my family. So that's we've grown over the last 2 years with CannaDaze, and started with a couple cabinets in a trailer going to different flea markets, and now we have a 600 square foot store. We're got a little bit of everything, as far as supplies for consuming cannabis, and we're starting to get into some basic growing supplies and gardening supplies to go along with their seeds, so people don't have to drive to the city every second week to get something for the garden.
All right, cool, good to know you're going to expand, add more stuff. Right. How to? Okay, now, basically, what got you started in becoming an advocate? Why basically?
Well, I was living out in Vancouver Island at the time. I was had my own carpentry business. Island sheds. We did sheds, decks, garages, carports, fences. The industry was booming at the time out there, and at that time, I always consumed cannabis, but I didn't really care about the laws, and I really wasn't into the movement, and none of it mattered. I was just doing my work, smoking my pot, living my life, right? And then I met Mark Emery. We were over in Vancouver, and we stopped at one of their cannabis days, and we heard him speak, and we actually got to meet him and everything else, and David Malamolavine, and a number of other people like that we talked to throughout the day. And it really drew my attention to the fact that the cannabis users need more people to stand up. At that time, they needed more for sure. And I've seen so much happen since then. It's really amazing what happens when you're involved in this movement, and the friends you make, and the lifelong connections you make. And I wouldn't give it up for anything.
I can confer with that, because I was just basically the same thing. Mark Emery was doing the marijuana legalization tour. I went to Kingston. I was like a month out of the hospital, and I saw where all those people stood up in front of that police station, and the police were out there. Nobody ever got bothered, and one thing led to the other, and yeah, you're right. More and more people need to speak up, and more people are speaking up now than there has been, because just look at the 420 rallies. When I got involved in this, there was only the one that was down in Niagara Falls, and now I'm sitting here with you, who organizes one.
And even that, I mean, when Mark got arrested for seeds and everything, there was maybe 2 or 3 dispensaries that I'm aware of across Canada. When he went to jail, these dispensaries and seed shops and everything, they really started to pop up. I can't say that he deserves all the credit for that, but I do think that his actions really motivated other people to get moving on it.
Yeah, that's from when I was writing with Treating Yourself, I would write about advocacy stuff, and that was what my belief was as well. Was that if you can show people what other people are doing and what they're achieving, others will learn from that, and it spreads. And
some people, they became infatuated. They loved what he was doing, and they loved the way he was doing it, and they started following. While other people decided, we really don't like the way you're doing this, and we're going to start doing it our way and show people, there's more than one way to do this. And I don't think people should be judging each other's way of doing it. Just do it the way that you feel is right, and that's all you can do. Not everybody likes the way that the West Coast has approached things, and regardless, they're active, they're engaged, and that's better than doing nothing.
Well, yeah, exactly. As I know myself, I've done a lot of advocacy work as a medical end of it, but and participated in the civil disobedience as well. There's some people who are out there who don't like the civil disobedience and think we should be pushing the medical, but both of them. It's not only those in other ways. It's coming at it like an octopus, where you got many arms.
Yeah, and most people use cannabis to relax. So, in what case are they really not medical? Whether they know it or not, or they decide they don't want to be on a list. They're regardless of when you're using cannabis or who's using cannabis, they're receiving medical benefits from it.
Correct. Yes, they are. More people, I'm finding it more and more people are reaching out all the time who you don't even think, like you mentioned, the market. There's people there. You get approached on the street. I don't know. You live in a small town. Do you ever get approached in the town?
Well, I'm a firm believer of the saying, don't shit in your own backyard. So I keep very quiet in my town. I do all my noise making in the surrounding towns.
Well, yeah, and, we are where we're located here. We are a lot of small towns that are within, 15 minutes of each other. So I just want to remind everybody we are allowing people to call in during the show. And actually, Wayne told me before we went live that he's got a set of seeds here from True North Seeds, CC Nexus, which is one of our sponsors. And he's going to give them away if somebody gives us a call or walks into the store. Well, he said 8:20. It's 8:15 right now, so it only gives them 5 minutes to get here. So why don't we got to give them some more time.
All right. Well, if someone calls in at 8:20, we'll still give the seeds away, and if somebody walks in, I have another packet.
You got another packet? Yeah, okay, all right. Well, maybe if they walk in here and say, hey, I heard you on the radio, no matter what time it is. Hey, I heard you on the radio.
Going to walk through the door that hears us gets a free pack of seeds. And then if somebody calls in, preferably at 8:20, but I guess the first caller will also, as long as they're Canadian, we'll mail a pack of seeds out to them.
There you go. Free seeds right here tonight. Just give us a call. That's 1-323-795-2420, or go on Skype, Lifestyle Radio, all one word, and we'll get you those seeds. Okay, let's see what we got from there. Okay, Cannabis Day, 420 Peterborough. The 420. Well, it's only a little bit away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that far away, and we've already had entertainers contact us. We have a group out of Napanee. I'm gapping on their name right now.
That happens. What do they call that? There's just your mind goes blank. You just say, that happens. He doesn't see the questions. He doesn't know they're coming. But just so you know, he is going to give us an answer to that question. We're sitting here at the CannaDaze news store talking with Wayne Matheson. He's the business owner. He has allowed the Pace Radio Show to move from one location into his location. We are now here at the front window watching people. We're just waiting for some people to walk by, giving them a big wave. We're right across from a bar, too. So, the odd time people come out for a smoke, give them a wave. And we're at a set of lights. So if we get like 4 cars backed up at lights, and believe me, in the small town, 4 cars, that's traffic. And hey, people complain about it. If it gets 4 cars long, they'll be looking right in at us. We're eye to eye with them. So we're looking forward to more shows like that. So how did you make out? Did you find the name of the band?
Yeah, I did. They're called Sofa King Addicted. They're out of Napanee, Ontario. You can find them on Facebook, and they're going to be the headliner band for the 420 festival this year. And all the equipment and DJ is supplied by Hotbox Lounge Radio out of Peterborough. And we're still looking for a couple more. So if any other bands or anybody want to come in, do a half hour, 45-minute, an hour long little jam session or whatever, or even if somebody wants to come down who wants to talk about legalization, or who wants to talk about their experiences and why medical marijuana is so important to them, or anything cannabis related, we can make some time for you on the microphone. Just email us at cannabisday@gmail.com and give us I answer within a day or two. I don't check it every day all the time.
What was that email address?
cannabisday@gmail.com.
Okay, cool. Make sure that they get that. It's always nice to say it a couple times. All right. So what got you started in, like you mentioned, what got you started in cannabis advocacy? But as far as the rally, what got you started? What got you started on the rally?
Well, when I moved back from out west, we had just had a baby, and I wasn't able to travel back and forth to Toronto, and I really missed being able to go to those Vancouver rallies. So I just said, well, there's nothing going on in Peterborough. There was a couple of years previously somebody had done it, but they had some issues and they weren't able to continue. So I decided we'll just start up in Peterborough, and in 2010 we did. There was, I believe, 6 of us came down from the apartment building that I lived in, and we all went down with some flags and stood on the side of the road and waved them around. And I think it was just shortly after that I actually met you.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, from 6 people, we've grown to about 500 people, 600 people show up on 420 or Cannabis Day. And, given Peterborough's population, it's actually a fair number in comparison to what Toronto gets. Yeah, when you look at it per capita, for sure. So you hold this rally, the one in Toronto's at Yonge and Dundas Square. Yours is held where? At Victoria Park in the courthouse, right just a block away from the cop shop in Kitty Corner City Hall. And the cool thing is we have a dab bar there. You go up, you do a $2 dab or $5 dab, or I'm not sure what their deal is. I get it free. but yeah, so there's a full dab bar there. You go, you do your dabs. You can sit around the park and smoke your bongs. There's vendors there. I think we had 3 or 4 different vendors there last year. There's spaces for nonprofit organizations if they want to come down. They just got to let me know that they're coming beforehand. And the live entertainment. We're welcome to comedians. We had a comedian a couple of years back. That was really nice. We had another guy, Will Flo, there a couple of years ago. Did a big fire spinning show with his Lily. So there's always different things going on, and you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's really changed over the years. Like I remember, that we were right up by the sidewalk, and there was 3 of us. I didn't even have a tent. I was on the ground with this blanket that covers the table here at the store. Yeah, well, as we grew, we moved into the center of the park, and mostly because the walkways all come into the center, and then there's 5 spots around the center water fountain where the bigger vendors can all sit, and the entertainers and everything, and kind of congregate there. When we started, it was more of a protest, but 2 years ago in the newspaper, they said that we changed from a protest to an event, and really it was true because we did get bigger. We ended up getting not permits. We aren't permitted, but we're permitted. Permitted. So that's something that you would go to the courthouse and the county and ask them, and you just basically have an agreement. And with that written agreement, we have to get that makes us able to get insurance to be able to use the park. So you have an agreement. You have agreement with the county, and you have insurance, and so you have the courthouse behind you. You have the police station to your right. You have City Hall on the corner. Have you had any issues with any of them? With any of them? No, not at all. I mean, the courthouse that lets us use the property, they don't charge us to use the property. We pay a small deposit in case of damage, which is basically what would be the deductible on the insurance. And then they give us power free. So, I mean, Peterborough has been very, very, very supportive of us. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year in light of the cannabis culture and their raids in town. So that's on the back of my mind as to whether it's going to affect us or not. And I plan on going and sitting in the deputy police chief's office before the rally and having a discussion with him about this rally, because I've had discussions with him in the past, in previous years, and they've been very positive conversations, and they really leave us alone. They don't congregate around the park like they do in the city. They don't, they just drive by, look at us, and keep on going. So I'm hoping that we'll keep that same relationship this year, and that the uproar of dispensaries and stuff being raided and everything in town doesn't change their mind on my event. Yeah, I can see your point there. And I remember the one time during one of the events, the police officers rode through in their bikes, just basically waved or said hi to everybody. There goes someone past the window giving us a big wave, eh? Yeah. But they've been very good. Like, I remember
the one time we were up on the sidewalk, and because you're on a one-way road there, right?
Yeah, it makes it real easy so that nobody can miss us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's 2 lanes. Actually, maybe even 3 lanes wide, and it's a one-way road. And I had my back to the traffic, and I heard the sirens, like the squawk of the police siren, and I thought, "Oh shit, here we go!" And it turned out that they were actually pulling over some kid on a bike who was riding the wrong way.
With riding the wrong way on the street without a helmet.
And so it was good that they were looking and protecting that lad. Anyways, so let's see. So planning these events, the 2 of them are similar, right? But it still takes time to do this. Like, do you find? I know the things that I've been involved with in the past, even non-cannabis events. Like, this isn't something you just do overnight.
No, I mean, over the years, there's a lot of connections I've established. So now it's to the point where the regulars, I can just send an email, confirm, and that's about it. But trying to get new people involved tends to be a very difficult task, especially while it's still illegal. I'm hoping this year, with it almost being legal, that more people will be willing to step up and get front center in these events and get involved. We've always had problems getting food vendors in there. I'm not sure why, but we can't seem to get food vendors in there.
You would think that they always talk about cannabis and munchies and stuff like that, but I know at the Karma Cup in Toronto, they had a vending truck there, and like there was a lineup.
Yeah, last year we ended up just calling Pizza Hut and having them deliver.
Well, there's an idea.
Yeah, you can't go that long, work it that hard all day long. I mean, it's a big setup. You got all these tents to set up, and all the tables, and all the product, and all the prizes, and draws, and giveaways. It really is. There's 13 of us that set it up and tear it down, and setup takes about 3 hours.
13. That's good workforce that comes in and gives you a hand to do that, because, like say, there's tents. Like, basically, CannaDaze, when you're there, you bring like your store, like cabinets, the whole bit.
Yeah. I have in the past. I brought a lot of stuff. We do a 10 by 20 tent. We horseshoe the cabinets, so we get, with the back cabinet, we have 40 feet of cabinet in there. So there's a lot of product that goes into there. I don't know if I'm up to that much work this year. I might limit my product a little bit more.
Well, now that you got the store here, they become more of a mobile thing.
Yeah. And it just becomes, you get so busy that you don't have time to run it. Last year I had a good friend of mine and a good supporter of ours over the years, Eric, and he was able to run things and help us out and do everything while I was running around doing the TV interviews and the radio talks and talking to different patrons and making sure the vendors had everything they needed and everything, right? So there's a lot of stuff that I have to do, so I can't just stand in the booth. But Eric, he took a job with Cannabis Culture in Peterborough, and when they in the second raid, he was charged, and part of his release conditions there, he's not allowed to handle paraphernalia. So his lawyer said he can't. Technically, he can work in my store, but he can't touch any product. So if somebody comes in and buys a bong, he'd have to bring them around behind, have them plastic wrap it, box it up, bag it. All he can do is collect the money. So it wasn't feasible for him to be here. So I've lost my number one partner in this enterprise, right? And then all the work and putting up flyers and social media sharing. He really, really did a lot, and he asked literally nothing for it. And it's hard without him. There's been a lot more trying without him.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was always there to help out when you needed a hand, and now because he decided to help others, he can no longer help you.
I used to own a carpentry business, and I paid guys $30-$35 an hour, and they were useless. And this guy comes in for free and does more than those guys ever would. And I don't know what else to say about it. He was just an amazing guy.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know down the road, once he's dealt with his court case and stuff, I'm sure you'll come to the door and say, hey.
Now that the store's open, he comes on down. He's got a paid job down here. I'm very thankful for everything he's done.
Okay, we are getting. Oh, just so you know, I'm getting a message here from somebody, and I'm just going to pull it up, and it's got to do with some news of some recent raids. All right, here it is. I just got a message from Chantel Oreo, who used to be a joint host here on the Pace Radio Show. She was with us for the first year. She's saying that her dispensary in Quebec was raided today. They accused her and 2 other staff. They won't be talking to media about it. Well, I'm talking to me, but mainstream media. And wow, let's see. I'm just trying to read through her notes here. She's talking the average age of these people who were involved in this was 63 years of age. 63.
Can you imagine? As an officer, I know they say they have to do their job and everything else, but that has to hurt them. They've got to feel that when they're making that arrest.
Yeah.
If they have any human decency at all, that would be a painful arrest for them.
They've been, it looks like it was the local police that were involved in this, and there's been a charge. They've been charged with trafficking.
Wow. I hope the judge is a lot nicer than they were.
Yeah, aren't laws supposed to be created in order to protect people? Like arresting people that are nurses or naturopaths just doesn't make sense to me.
No, and at this point in time, I mean, we're so close to legalization that these charges are just going to drag out in court, and then they're all going to get thrown away. We're wasting so much tax dollars on this because it's still illegal, and it just the end doesn't justify the means. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Chantel, if you're listening, why don't you give us a call on Skype, Lifestyle Radio, and we'll give a gab with you on that. It'd be interesting. Other than that, right now it's break time. Time, as I always say, time to pay some bills. Tonight our bumper music feature is from the Killing Time Band, and the song, being that we are in a location that is nothing but cannabis, it's always 420. And when we return, I will continue talking with our guest, patient and business owner, Wayne Matheson of CannaDaze here in Campbellford, Ontario. This is the Pace Radio Show on lifestyleradio.ca. This is the Pace Radio Show.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Canada, the time to act is now. These days, your customers are seeking variety. Increase your earning potential by expanding your inventory with CC Nexus, Canada's largest cannabis seed wholesaler. CC Nexus stocks over 60 reputable breeders, including Canuck seeds, with a wealth of autoflower, regular, feminized, and CBD strains. All first-time customers will receive a free pack of Canuck seeds, plus a mug, t-shirt, and additional promotional materials. Add strains and increase your profit with CC Nexus, your Canadian-owned and operated wholesaler of cannabis seeds. Discreet, worldwide stealth shipping from Canada, supporting you locally. Call today, 1-844-843-7995, 1-844-843-7995, or visit us at ccnexus.global.
The following is a public service announcement from the Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners Society. The Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners Society is a non-profit organization dedicated to ensuring improved access to therapeutic cannabis and cannabis byproducts in Canada. With a federal government that has committed to legalizing cannabis, we feel it is our duty to ensure that the medicinal use of cannabis doesn't get lost in the process and that there are clear distinctions made between the medicinal and recreational use of cannabis. It is our mission to ensure that government regulation doesn't get in the way of a sick, disabled, or terminally ill person's right to use or produce this amazing natural health product. If you would like to get involved, you can contact us on the internet, www.canadiantherapeuticCannabisPartners.com, on Facebook, CTCP Society, or search Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners.
This is Al Graham of the Pace Radio Show. Are you keeping pace, as in keeping people advocating cannabis education? If you're not, and you're a cannabis consumer, then why not? Others are working hard every day to help educate people about cannabis so you can enjoy your daily 420. Get involved and speak out. Be loud and proud so that you can keep pace. Tune into the Pace Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear about people advocating cannabis education here on lifestyleradio.ca.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
BMA offers cannabinoid testing, so if you want to prove you've got good medicine, head to BMA Hydroponics and prove it.
I start my day with some good and plenty. You know some say that they don't trust my ways, but I trust my friends.
Hey, we're back. It's the Pace Radio Show you're listening to here on lifestyleradio.ca, and we are live. And we are also in our new home here at CannaDaze. Our live shows can be heard at lifestyleradio.ca, www.420radio.ca. We're also live at Spreaker, TuneIn Radio. And don't forget, hey, if you're in the area, you're here in Campbellford, you're near CannaDaze, come join us. Come stop in and say hi, ask a question, get involved in the conversation. And hopefully over time we'll get people who will do that. I'd also like to remind you that you can now, we're going to try to do some call-in stuff. You can call Lifestyle Radio at 1-323. Oh, there goes somebody by the window with a smile on their face. 1-323-795-2420. Gotta love the 420 at the end. Hey, we'll even be able to see all kinds of people up there. I can just imagine if we're doing this on a Friday night. Yeah.
Once the weather gets nice outside, we can just stand out there with the microphone and just stop people on the street, right?
Run out of the car windows, eh? You can also get a hold of us through Skype at Lifestyle Radio, all one word. Okay. I got to remind everybody that to tune in Friday night for Al, Marcel, and the rest of the crew. The Friday night 420 crew here at lifestyleradio.ca. Tune in at 7 p.m. for 2 hours of informative and sometimes crazy talk, as well as some great music and guests. And also Wednesday mornings, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. Catch Tamara Cartwright and her show, Coffee and Cannabis. She has a guest joins her, and she's on every Wednesday morning. Keep Sal going on Wednesdays. 2 shows. All right. One in the morning, one in the night. All right. Tonight, talking about night, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have a joint toast. But I am here with my guest, Wayne, my friend, Wayne Matheson. He's the owner of CannaDaze. It's a business located here in Campbellford, Ontario, and it's where we're going to be doing our live shows from now on, right here in the front window. So we're looking forward to things. Wayne, before the break, we were talking about the 420 Cannabis Day events that you organize. I have a couple more questions about that before we move on. All right. Let's see. We're looking. I know we're looking down the road, man. We're looking a year or two down the road before cannabis legalization, or as some people call it, Prohibition 2.0 kicks in. Will there still be a need for these civil disobedience rallies and things?
Well, I don't think there'll be any civil disobedience about it. My first plan, the second legalization hits, and is legal, like we can go buy it, smoke, or whatever. I will be going down to City Hall, and I'll be applying for a smoking exemption, an exemption to the smoking bylaw, the same way that they do when they put beer tents out at the Rib Fest or in the park for the Music Fest or down at the Monster Jam. They have these beer tents all over the place. So I'm going to be looking for exemptions just like that. And if I have to go 19 plus and fence off the whole friggin' park, I will. At that time, I mean, go big or go home, right? So we'll still do 420 and 420. Cannabis Day itself, I'd love to change from Canada Day to get that day back for my family and do that on the day of legalization. So Cannabis Day will move to the date that cannabis gets legalized. And then from there, I'd like to start a 710 rally. Not protest, kind of like hopefully a week-long type thing, maybe in the Trent Hills area where we rent a big campground or something and just have a huge party. So I'm hoping to start that.
Hey, I didn't even know that about myself. I'm looking forward to that.
About starting a 710 or a Harvest Fest for about 5 years now. It's a matter of expenses and getting a location and everything like that. So I am looking at some property up north near Coe Hill where Dr. Cameron's was busted. There's 5 acres. If I can get my hands on that property, that would be a great place to do a week-long party.
Yeah, and there's lots of open fields here around this area, and just because we're in a rural area and we have farmers around, it doesn't make much difference. Farmers like cannabis too.
Some of these farmers have airstrips in their fields, so we can get the BC boys down here, we can get the East Coast boys up here. People can come from everywhere and just fly right into the party.
Okay, now when it comes to your event, what do you find the hardest thing to do to organize or involved in it?
The hardest thing to do. Raise money.
Raise money. I can see that. Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean, I figure there's some expenses that are stable, but tents have to be replaced every couple of years and this and that. So on an average, I would say each event costs about $1,500. To this point, the Dab Bar, anything they raise, they donate back to us, which is between $300 and $500 on an average, which is pretty good. And then the vendors pay a little bit, but most of that goes into insurance. So each event, I'm probably $1,000 out of pocket, and I don't make that back. I don't, nobody gives it to me. This year, I just started to kind of help on the advertising side of things. Previously, people who wanted to sponsor the event or be involved as a sign of support, I've been allowing them to give me a donation for the prize draw, and then they go on all my advertising. Well, now this year we've changed it so it's the donation plus a $30 advertising fee, and that $30 gets you on everything, all the printouts, all the web stuff. So we've changed it a bit to try to offset the expenses. So maybe I can get it down to $500. That's out of my pocket, kind of thing.
Exactly. So how is the support of I know the main drag, especially the main drag of Peterborough, there's five head shops, right?
Yeah, but trying to get them all in is problematic. There's some rivalries in town where people have opened shops just to antagonize other people, and there's been these ongoing fights. So trying to get all the head shops involved at the same time has been quite trying.
Because everybody's should be working towards the same goal here.
Yeah, I think everybody should be trying to get to the same end. Yeah.
and it shouldn't matter. It's all about getting the information, the education, the knowledge, and everything out there. And if if you're not getting along with somebody, it's the support, really.
There's no lack of customers in Peterborough for these shops. That's proven itself over and over. I mean, there's 5 shops in existence, and they're all doing well. And once the legalization hits, that's more. Or more and more people are going to be more willing to walk into these shops. There's a lot of people who won't walk into them, and once it's legalized, you're going to see a huge increase in customers.
I hope that wasn't a friend calling for those free seeds.
That was a bill call.
Okay. Last question to do with these rallies. You watch this stuff on TV, like on the news, or you see the reports that are in the newspaper. They really focus on the young crowd, the young people there that are, they get the picture of them blowing smoke all the time. Do you find your rallies do attract more of the younger crowd? And if so, is there any way that to maybe help retain the older people? Now, you don't have to be super old to be an older person when it comes to cannabis crowds.
Yeah, well, I mean, the high school is it's just the other side of City Hall, so it's a block and a half away. Actually, it's exactly a block and a half away. So it is hard to keep the kids out. My contract with the county of Peterborough that lets me use the park says that I can't control who comes in and out of the park. It's still a public place, and my activities shouldn't impede on their whatever they want to do, right? So there was a couple of years where people had weddings, and we kind of moved everything over to leave space for them and that kind of stuff. But sorry, I forget where I was going.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right. I know.
Second half to that question.
Oh, as far as trying to retain, like I see the crowd there, and I've seen some people who are my age, or even older that have been there, but they tend to sort of wander off. Is there any way that how to retain them, keep them there?
I think once it's legalized and we're able to fence things off and make it, a full 19 plus or 18 plus or whatever the law says it has to be, I think that will change people's attitudes about being there. I mean, no 20, 30-year-old wants to go hang out in the park with a bunch of rambunctious 16, 17, 18 years olds. You know what I mean? Like, it really... I don't like eliminating the youth, but at the same time, it really does give a bad image to the movement. There's a lot of people that look at that very negatively. I started smoking cannabis at a young age. I suffered from ADHD. I was into trouble. I was always, I couldn't focus. I was just messed up. And then I got off of, Ritalin, and I got onto the cannabis. And what I found was it really slowed my mind down. It allowed me to focus. My grades started going up in school. So for these reasons, I don't like to eliminate the younger crowd. There is a place for it within the younger kids to help them get over things like ADHD and other.
Oh, all right. It looks like we've got a caller. My producer is sending me a message. I heard the phone, but I guess I got the wrong one. All right, let's bring a caller in. Hello, caller. Are you there? Hello? Well, if a caller is there, just speak up and we'll just keep going. Okay, our caller, I guess, has dropped out or left, so we'll just continue on. All right. Now, as we mentioned, we're here at CannaDaze, 19 Bridge Street, Campbellford. We're in Ontario. We're between Peterborough, Belleville. We're 2 hours east of Toronto.
Yeah.
And so CannaDaze, how'd you come up with the name?
Oh, because I'm always in a cannabis daze, so it kind of makes sense.
Is that why the picture of the eyes are red?
Well, yeah, a lot of cannabis businesses, they go with the traditional big pot leaf, So I strive to be different. I've always been like that. I like to be different. So instead of the big pot leaf in my window, I went to the big set of bloodshot eyes, and it gets a lot of conversation sparked, and it really does catch people's attention.
Yeah, and actually, you've only got 2 very small cannabis leaves in your logo.
Yeah, right in the little retina where the retina of the eye is a little pot leaf in each eye. Yeah.
Nice. Now, I know that you mentioned, you've been doing the rallies for years and stuff, but, at some point you think to yourself, I could probably make this a store. So basically, how long have you been planning in order to become a store?
Well, let's see. I registered Blaze and Wrinkles Enterprises, which was my company prior to CannaDaze. So I'd say around 2005 was when I first started planning it. I dropped $200 onto flags, and I went to a rally with them, right, and tried to sell them there. And it took a while to progress. I was still in and out of carpentry and kind of struggling with how I was going to be able to support myself and be more involved in the movement while and phasing myself out of the construction industry that I could no longer handle physically anyway. So it was a very, very difficult transition. It was financially stressful on the family. There was nothing easy about it. I'm not going to lie to you.
So basically, you've done this by whatever you could sell at flea markets and things. You don't have any financial backers or anything along that line.
Well, when I started CannaDaze, I did get a private investor lend me some money to open up. And when I switched over to CannaDaze, I also had the support of Community Futures Development Corporation. And they didn't give me any money, but what they did was it covered my living expenses for the first 18 months. So they paid my rent, they paid my hydro, they paid my heat, they gave me some food money. It was just a little bit better than welfare, but not quite.
You weren't getting rich off of it or anything.
Not quite as good as disability, you know what I mean? Like somewhere in between. So but 18 months of that, and that really allowed me to take that $200-300 worth of product that I had, sell it and buy more, sell it and buy more, sell it and buy more, and then build my product line until I was able to make it a viable business.
Yeah, great. Now, it's you're using whatever avenue that you can.
I should mention, Community Futures Development Corporation did tell me that I'm the first Ontario cannabis-based business that they helped, and it took me 2 years to convince them to give me support.
All right, I heard the phone ringing. I think we got ourselves another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Check 1 2. Hello. Can someone hear me?
Hello, I can hear you. Yeah.
Convince them.
All right. Go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Jay Blaze.
Oh, hey, Jay Blaze. How you doing, buddy? Long time no hear.
Hello, it's Jay Blaze.
Jay, you can't hear me, Jay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good stuff. How you doing, man? Jay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, good. So how's things, man? It's been a long time since I talked to you.
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to call and congratulate you on your little gig here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And then thank you guys to go to Wayne here for allowing a spot here to allow us to do this.
No problem. Thanks for coming down and doing it here. It's great.
And Jay and I, we participated in what was that called? Man. The Flower Hour, right, Jay? And so Jay and I, we participated in what was that And
yeah, we did the flower hour, and then we did our little trip, the trip segment.
Correct. Yes, the trip. That was actually a couple of years in total over all that. And Jay, you were always on at 420. Yeah, what we're experiencing here is a bit of a lag.
Tried to be, yeah. Sorry for the delay, man.
No problem. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay in this, and I caught on. And this is the first time we've tried this, so we are experimenting live on the radio show right now.
All right. I'm the first one, man. I'm the first one.
That's right, you are.
But I know you got guests there.
Yeah, hey,
so
look at that. We got.
Don't want to take up your
because you're
airtime.
the first caller in. We have got a set of seeds from the True North Seed Bank and CC Nexus, so you can find it at ccnexus.global. We have got you a set of quarter pounder, and it's an auto fem plant seed. Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
He can contact CannaDaze, CANNADAZE at gmail.com with a mailing address for those.
Get that, Jay?
Thank you.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah, I did get it. I do apologize for the delay, though.
No problem. We'll have to have you call back in another time. We'll try to get see what's going on here with the delay. Okay, Jay. Yeah, I did get it. I do apologize for the delay, though. No problem. We'll have to have you call back in another time.
Yeah, man. Have a good night.
We will, and
Good
thank
luck
you
with
for
your
calling,
show.
and it was good talking to you, man. There you go. Our first caller ever. Our first caller ever for the Pace Radio Show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for calling in, Jay. Congratulations on winning your seeds. I hope you get a quarter pounder out of it.
Yeah, I hope so, too. Well, let's hope it goes by its name, quarter pounder. Be nice.
You think that's what you get off the plant, or you think that's what size is? Quarter pounder per stem, wouldn't that be nice? Eh?
Sure would be.
I don't know. I've never grown it, so.
Yeah, neither have I. I've seen some pictures of it, though. The pictures look good. Okay, we got about 2 minutes here before we go to another commercial break. Let's see. So, I really want to. Okay, I'll ask this question, and then we'll get part two. We'll get the break in. Okay. Now, when it comes to this location, this wasn't something where you just sort of talked to the landlord, blah blah blah. You got your agreement, and bang, you opened up a week later. How long did you wait?
Well, this getting into the store was emotionally, it was kind of like having a baby. It took 9 months to get in here from the time I paid my deposit, and it was supposed to be within a period of a month originally.
Wow, from 1 month to 9 months. So what was the delay?
Well, everything was approved for me to come in here through the building inspector, through the bylaw, through the city. We did our due diligence. We talked to everyone we needed to do. And so we paid our deposit, and we slapped the banner up in the window, coming soon. And then the building inspector, the lower down building inspector, took issue with it. I'm sure he'll never admit to it being a personal issue, but pretty confident that it was. And he deemed me to be a fire risk, which I haven't figured out how yet. and he just kept changing things that had to be done to the job. Like we needed a 2-hour burn time, which meant resilient channel soundproofing, 4 layers of drywall, and then he made him split the hydrometer so that I was on my own hydro, separate from the apartments, and then they had them put in a brand new furnace. What else did they do?
That was a boiler furnace, right?
A boiler furnace that runs hot water heat. And it was just one thing after the other, right down to they made him pull the screws out of the ceiling that were holding the lights up on the ceiling, fill the screw holes full of fire-rated caulking, and then put the screw back in. So he really stalled as long as he could, and cost the landlord approximately $30,000 more than the job was supposed to cost. And my landlord took on that expense and never forwarded any of that to me. He never raised my rent at all. And I'm very thankful for that. We're in a brand new, nice, clean location.
It's as if the two of you supported each other. He was trying to make sure that he could get himself a person who was renting his store, and you were willing to wait for this. So when we come back from the break, we'll find out what did you do in the meantime while you waited those 9 months. And so we're going to take a commercial break. And tonight our bumper music is from the Killing Time Band and their song. As we're mentioned, we're here at CannaDaze. We're in a cannabis business, and it's always 420 here. And that's the song we're going to hear. And then when we return, I will continue this conversation with Wayne Matheson. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show, live here at lifestyleradio.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show, live.
Please hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Let's burn another bowl out of my house to start a brand new day. The sun is shining, I am smiling and singing away.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
BMA offers cannabinoid testing, so if you want to prove you've got good medicine, head to BMA Hydroponics and prove it.
The National Task Force on Medicinal Cannabis is a group of not-for-profit organizations dedicated to influencing government policy with factual evidence. Our mission is to ensure that a constitutional medical program is developed that will address the concerns of all Canadians that require therapeutic cannabis. The task force is looking for dedicated people who are willing to contribute to our cause. We have formed this task force to foster a unified approach and focus on lobbying the federal government and Health Canada. We represent the combined expertise of thousands of patients with more than a decade of experience. As a task force participant, you, your business, or your group will have an opportunity to show that you care and offer your unique skills to promote the cause. If you would like to get involved, go to medcanataskforce.org. That's medcanataskforce.org and use the Contact Us link to get started. Help us help you.
Tune into the Pace Radio Show and catch Kim Cooper, Debbie Stoltz-Giffen, or Alison Murden, along with myself, Al Graham, as we talk to Canadian and international cannabis advocates who are working hard to help patients and to end cannabis prohibition. Catch us live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at lifestyleradio.ca.
Canada, the time to act is now. These days, your customers are seeking variety. Increase your earning potential by expanding your inventory with CC Nexus, Canada's largest cannabis seed wholesaler. CC Nexus stocks over 60 reputable breeders, including Canuck seeds, with a wealth of autoflower, regular, feminized, and CBD strains. All first-time customers will receive a free pack of Canuck seeds, plus a mug, t-shirt, and additional promotional materials. Add strains and increase your profit with CC Nexus, your Canadian-owned and operated wholesaler of cannabis seeds. Discreet, worldwide stealth shipping from Canada, supporting you locally. Call today, 1-844-843-7995, 1-844-843-7995, or visit us at ccnexus.global.
We sing at night, 'cause music is our life. The jam is tight, this is alright. You can only achieve.
And just so you know, I noticed that. Welcome back, and as always, thanks for tuning in to the Pace Radio Show, being broadcasted live here at lifestyleradio.ca. Before I bring in my guest, I just want to mention our radio calling guy there, Jay Blaze. I just want to mention that because of him and his brother is why I'm on the radio today. So thanks to Jay's. And I just wanted to mention that before I forgot it. Tonight, our Pumper Music featured was the Clementine Band, a well-known band here in Ontario, one that many in the cannabis community enjoyed. The band will be at this year's 420 celebrations in Toronto, which, so you know, is the last one being held at Yonge and Dundas Square. It has overgrown its location, and they've been asked to move it. I believe if you go to the 420 Toronto's Facebook page, they have posted a poll there for people to help them decide on where they want to go. The last time I saw it, people were saying Nathan Phillips Square, right there in front of City Hall. So that would be interesting to see where they end up. I know there's a couple other spots. Other people have mentioned the Molson Amphitheater, which has been renamed the Budweiser Stage. So, other than the fact that it's not within a public realm, not bad. Budweiser Stage. And I wonder, what are my guests here? Wayne Matheson, owner of CannaDaze. What do you think? Budweiser Stage or downtown?
I'd hit the volcano on the Budweiser Stage.
But I think that, though, part of those goals of the rally is to be in the public. And would they be in the public if they're at the Budweiser Stage?
Depends on when they go there. I mean, next year, 2 years from now, it might not matter.
It's going to be next year. They have to move wherever the new location is.
Yeah, because once legalization hits, it's not a protest anymore. It's a celebration. So at that point, you don't need to be right in the public, although there's nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly. Okay, Wayne, we still got some little bit of time here. I think we got time for another caller. Someone wants to call in. 1-323-795-2420. Once again, that's 1-323-795-2420. Or you can get a hold of us on Skype at Lifestyle Radio, all one word. Okay, Wayne, before the break, look at that. What we got left? We got about 20 minutes. Boy. Let's see. Before the break, we were talking about the store and your wait and what you had to go through 9 months waiting while the landlord was dealing with the changes that were required by the municipality in order for you to get in here. What'd you do in the meantime?
Well, we set up at the flea market down. We were set up at the flea market prior to that, but we just stayed there and we expanded. We had a nice 3 booths in the center upstairs, 4-sided with cabinets. We had a lot of product in there. We had a lot of loyal customers that went to us there, and the owners of the market are very, very supportive of our business.
The name of the market?
It was the Hidden Treasure Chest Flea Market. It's at 2 Industrial Drive in Campbellford, Ontario. And if you're GPSing it, it's Trent Hills. Al and Sharon, they've been extremely supportive and kind to me over the past year and 2 months there. And, they're a great market, and I don't plan on leaving at all.
Even though you've opened the store, you still have a booth down there at the market. Did you just maybe downsize a little?
Yeah, I downsized a little bit, and I might upsize a little bit too as I get into gardening supplies and stuff. The cost of the booth space is, it's just like warehousing, right? So I'm going to need somewhere to warehouse soils and stuff. So I'm just going to do that there.
Right. Now, you mentioned earlier that being there, people, react different. You get a different clientele down there versus here. People have been, supportive.
Yeah, well, you get mixed opinions there, but at least you get to talk to people that wouldn't come into the store, and you get to talk to them about their views, and you get to offer them truths where they might be believing myths. You get to give them evidence of how cannabis helps and how it works and all this and that. And people, sometimes they come in and they're kind of skeptical, but they end up being very receptive, and they walk away with a lot of information. I'm going to tell you about my parents came to my store for when I opened. They came to check it out. And my parents are very not supportive of marijuana. They've always been anti-pot. And they do see the times changing. They wanted to come down and see my store and everything. And even they left with information that they were going to drop on. They work at an old age home, and they're going to drop it on in the lunchroom there for the old people to read. And it was seeing people that don't use cannabis, that really don't believe in cannabis, that just weren't interested, all of a sudden pick up some information and take some interest and then want to share that information. Just seeing that 360 in their attitude in the matter of, a 20-minute, half-hour, 45-minute conversation, it's rewarding.
It sure is. That's I know that feeling. It's great when you can take somebody and have them become an advocate, and that's PACE, people advocating cannabis. It's about getting information, the education out there, and getting others to spread the word. And you're able to do that even with your own parents who wouldn't. Would they want you to open a store in Bancroft?
Well, I did hint at it, but they never really said anything. So that'll be something that I push over the summer.
Oh, yeah. Now, talking about education, here we are in your store. You've donating space for PACE to do the radio show, as well as educational information to help patients become legal with the ACMPR program. How important was education and information to you to be part of your store?
Well, for me, the store is part of the education. The education, and so, like I said earlier, it costs money to get it out there. It costs money to be active in the community and to be able to engage and have a location in the winter where people can talk. And it costs money to do it effectively. You can do every little bit, like my parents taking that magazine up north and dropping it in. That's going to reach a lot of people. But on a continuous basis, it costs money. So the only way you can do that is to raise money to do it. I don't like asking for handouts. I've never been the kind of person that, just give me this, give me that. I've never been like that. So this was the only way I could keep helping people, keep spreading information, do what I can do for the community and surrounding communities, and still be able to pay for that stuff and be able to support my family at the same time.
Right. Exactly. Let's see. When it comes to the education information, we've got there's handouts, there's magazines that are available for people to come in and get for free. Do you look at the store hosting things such as seminars or educational documentaries or anything else along that line?
Oh, I fully intend to. I haven't scheduled the grand opening for the store. I'm thinking another 3 or 4 weeks, we'll have it. I'm just waiting on some more product and stuff to come in. And then once that grand opening happens, whether it's a weekly or a monthly thing will depend on who we can get involved to help teach these classes and do these seminars and stuff like that. Because a lot of the stuff I'd like to teach people, I'm only half knowledgeable on it. So I'd like to bring in other people who are more knowledgeable. And it'd be a free service. I mean, if somebody's from out of town, I'll help get them here. I'll help pay their travel expenses or whatever if need be. But really, this is just about informing people, teaching people, and when people learn how to make their own edibles, they learn how to make their own creams, salves, rubs, tinctures. When they learn how to do these things themselves, and they're low-income people, it's amazing how much product they can make with a little bit of investment compared to buying it from a dispensary or a licensed producer, or you know what I mean, and then having to make the product and not knowing how to do it and messing it up a few times. I think it's going to be very beneficial to patients.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I'm all about the education information, and it'll also help probably bring some people out of the cannabis closet as well.
That's the hope. I hope to see regular people in here. And speaking of people who are non-cannabis users, when cannabis culture in Peterborough got raided, we put a petition inside the flea market, and we collected about 150 signatures. But 80 of those signatures, 80 of them were people who don't use cannabis, which is really, really quite amazing to show how much support we have outside of the cannabis community. And some people out there, when people start questioning and asking doubts, and they feel threatened, and the only thing I can say is, as an activist or as an advocate, is don't get short-tempered, don't get upset with these people. They're asking these tough questions because they're truly interested in the answers, and all you can do is be honest with them and straightforward with them, and try not to get agitated, even though sometimes it may seem like they're agitating on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to talk to people who, like, I know when we were doing the shows for Treating Yourself in Toronto, we would occasionally get somebody who was, against cannabis, and you could actually, by the time they left the booth, they were looking at things a different way. And you can do that. You just got to stay calm and don't get all upset at them if they are asking questions that are really negative.
Yeah. As soon as you come back with them with any kind of an attitude, regardless if they come at you with attitude or not, as soon as you come back with them any kind of negativity, you're just adding fuel to the fire. So just stay positive, and stay kind, and keep spreading the word, regardless of how the other person on the end is feeling about it.
Okay, now before I switch subjects here, I got another question about the store here. Now, I've lived in this town for 40 years, and there's only been one other head shop that I'm aware of, and it moved around 3 times, and then it left town, so we haven't had one in here in ages now. What are you finding? You've only been here a week. Okay? It's only been a week now that you've been here. What are you finding as far as reception-wise?
I'm finding a lot of good reception. Being across from the bars, we have people come over and ask us all kinds of questions and check out our product, and just curious people. We've had good reception here. I don't think we're going to have any issues surviving in this town. When the other head shop was here, it was the marijuana industry was on a whole different playing field. Right, they weren't playing on the same level that I am here today, where things are a lot more acceptable.
Right, yes. The medical program's been going for 15, 16 years now. And like we mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, there's a lot more noise and information and people who are involved than there was back then.
And that's a sign that normalization has begun. We aren't there yet, but there's a lot of people that are really coming around on the issue.
Okay, now to switch topics, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, not only are you an advocate and a business owner, but you're also a medical user of cannabis. Can you tell us a bit about your medical use and where you find benefits?
Well, like I said in the beginning there, I do treat ADHD for it. I found out at a younger age in high school that it helped me focus, helped me get direction and be able to concentrate on what I'm doing. Aside from that, I have what's called degenerative muscle atrophy. It's constant pain. I mean, the more I do, the worse it hurts. Things seize up, swell up. It makes it very hard to do stairs, stuff like that. So I found the cannabis use does assist with that. But I find smoking it helps with my back pain. It helps with the clarity of my thinking and that kind of thing. But as far as the degenerative muscle atrophy, I have to use a topical application, whether it's in a coconut cream or some kind of a shea butter or anything like that. Actually, the Pace News this month's Pace Grassroots thing has some recipes in it that are really good. So that kind of a direct application I find works a lot better for that type of pain, whereas inhaling it is more beneficial. Psychological ADHD.
It would help you. I've talked to people before the ADHD. They say it helps slow things down and helps them focus.
Yeah, it definitely does. And when you slow down your thinking and create focus and find direction, it gives you meaning. So you're not just walking around feeling lost all the time.
That's true. Now, what about edibles? Do you find that there any benefit to your muscle in your leg?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not a big edible person. I hate the taste of raw flour or the taste of oil, or so when I do use it in an edible form, I generally do it like with a ginger molasses or a mint cookie or something that is very overwhelming to the taste of the cannabis. I don't like the taste unless it's being smoked.
Well, I know you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there that have a problem with the chlorophyll. You see, there's now we're seeing stuff on TV, Bong Appetit and Martha Stewart and there's doing cooking shows now.
Yeah, I will say, give a shout out to Natural Remedy here, just off the top of my head. And that's because their teas, I really do enjoy their teas. You drink it slow, it's a nice calming effect. If you want to get more of a head rush, you just slam one of those suckers back and you're done. So I do like their tea. I'm hoping to get some, my own personal supply here in the store so I can have it on a more regular basis. But again, it's not free. So
no, it's not. Now, has your use of cannabis, some people will call it cannabinoid therapy, cannabis therapy, has it ever been a problem?
How so?
Well, sometimes. Well, you mentioned your parents have a bit of an issue. But
I've had a lot of issues with my family. I remember there's an island across the lake from my parents, and we all go over there and have bonfires, and everybody has beer, the whole family and everybody. We do it once a year, and so we're sitting over there, and my aunt's going on and on about how bad drugs are, and how pot's a gateway drug, and I've been instructed by my parents prior to keep bite my tongue. So I'm sitting there biting my tongue, and then she gets up and she goes and she comes out with a 2-4 beer. Who needs a round, right? She's this little 82-year-old frail lady, giving out beer to everyone, talking about how bad drugs are.
You're giving out the worst drug to society, the one that causes the most problems and damage. Yeah, thanks, Grandma. Have you, here in Canada, we have the legal medical problem. We hear a lot about some of the troubles that patients have getting signatures and doctors. Did you have to struggle like that to get a signature?
Well, no, once I decided I wanted to become medical, Dr. Kammerman's, I dated his neighbor for years in high school, and I knew who he was, right? So I just went to his office, and, I got signed, and I got renewed, and then he lost his license, and that's when he couldn't sign anymore. That's when I ran into problems. He was always fair. $75, $100 was his rates in the beginning, and then as more problems came along, those rates started to go up. But and then once he got lost his license, I had to go through another doctor in Hamilton, and that one cost $600. And then my wife went through a doctor down in Fort Erie, and that cost $400. And that's just for the appointment. I mean, you still have your travel, your food, everything else, right? So you're up to $1,000 to go do one of these trips. And it just got ridiculous as far as expense. And I'm very fortunate that I got covered under the injunction. So there was only about a 1.5 year period where I had trouble getting signed.
Good. Well, yeah, because some patients just seem to. Even that's too long, Other patients, I've had people come to me, they've been trying and haven't been able. I know now, compared to when I first started getting this, it was, trying to find a doctor for patients and when we're trying to help them out. Now there seems to be the clinics are available. The clinics weren't available 5 years ago.
Yeah, and they're running on kind of an unfair system right now. The cheaper they are, the more rules and regulations they have, right? Like the free ones, they want to limit your THC levels, and they want to do urine testing and this and that. And then, you get up to one that costs $50, $60, and it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of communication back and forth with you, them, your doctor, and then you get into places that $300, and it's a little simpler. And then, I mean, the more money you have, the easier it gets. You want to spend $1,200, you just Skype a doctor, bing, boom, you're done the same day. Right?
Yeah. And some of those lower priced options only connected to a licensed producer, whereas when you start paying that higher money, like you said, Dr. Cameraman at $7,500, people were mad at him for charging, whereas now people are going to the clinic and paying that and more.
I mean, like the cheapest place I can go right now that I'm aware of to get a grow license is $300. I know two places like that, and I like the fact that they're doing that, but $300 for.
I know it'd be nice if the doctors could bill him, so that wasn't a problem. Okay, Wayne, we're down to the last few minutes here. One last question before we get to the shout out. Do you think the medical option will be available for patients when and if legalization ever happens?
Well, if I remember correctly, in the 80 recommendations from the task force, they did strongly recommend that the medical program remain running side by side with the legalization model, and that's a necessity. I really do think it's a necessity. What we really need to be more concerned about is these LPs and their recalls on these products, and how we're going to get away from that and start making products safer for patients, because I don't think the program's going anywhere. It might change, but I don't see it going anywhere.
I agree. I don't see it going anywhere. And those recent recalls, that's not good news for the LPs. When stuff is being recalled from February, like a year ago,
stuff's getting recalled that people have already consumed, and you've got that happening, and then you've got police saying that these dispensaries, aren't safe to shop in. Well, when a patient buys product from a licensed producer, government approved producer, and then they get a recall saying that for the last 8 months they've been consuming this horrible product, what makes them want to go back to that LP? They're going to go down the road now where they can see the product and decide for themselves whether that's what they want or not, because this mail order crap is exactly what it is. It's crap. Yeah, you can't make any choice. You don't know what you're getting. It comes wet, it comes moldy, it comes contaminated with all kinds of chemicals. Cartels and bikers have grown marijuana for the last 80 years, and we haven't had people getting sick off it.
We haven't had any deaths.
No deaths. So why is it so hard for these licensed producers to get it right?
I don't know. Someone's not following protocols, or somebody's not talking to somebody. But as I say, some people say better late than never. But it's unfortunate that patients are having to consume something that in other countries is completely outlawed, and action is taken right away.
I think the problem is that they're just being too strict on it, which is causing these companies to need to bring in these other substances to try to counteract whatever the government is thinking they need all this extra regulation for them to grow pot.
Okay, well, Wayne, we've come to the end of the show. We got their 90 minutes in. Just give you time here to do a quick shout out to person, place, a thing, a website, whatever.
Well, I kind of already did, so I'll just repeat it. I'm going to give a shout out to Natural Remedy for their awesome tea products, and they have many other great products, but I really do enjoy their tea.
All right, I just want to remind everybody to go to paceonline.ca, write us a message, let us know you want some free stuff. We got multiple names. We will pull a name out of the hat, and we will send you some free things. Actually, I will be delivering some tomorrow on my drive. All right, and I remind everybody that I'll be back next Wednesday with joint host Kim Cooper and her guest. You can find Pace Radio on Facebook. We're also on Twitter at Pace Radio. Actually, we're supposed to get ourselves a picture of us in the booth tonight so we can tweet it out. You got your camera there? Get a picture of us here? Yeah, come see us live at 19 Bridge Street West in Campbellford, Ontario. Let's see. We're also on the web, as I mentioned, paceonline.ca. Oh, there we go. You want to turn? There we go. Okay, good. We're getting the picture so we can send it out. There. Do we want to turn around here? Get the window shot behind us. I hope our producer doesn't mind. We're gonna go a little long here. Oh, there we go. We gotta switch it over here. There we go. There. We got another picture. All right, we'll get those out on Twitter and on social media, our Facebook pages and stuff. Okay. Thank yous go out to our sponsors, friendly folks at BMA Hydroponics. They're in Belleville, BMAHydroponics.com. Also, thank you to CC Nexus. They have over 2,000 strains available, and they're probably Canada's largest cannabis seed wholesalers. You can get a hold of them at ccnexus.global. Also, thanks to El Rapper Lifestyle Radio, the man behind the baggie who listens to us every week to make sure that this gets done. Also, a big thank you to our guest, Wayne Matheson here of CannaDaze, as I mentioned, located in Campbellford. Thank you for everything, man. Back to doing the show and allowing us basically a booth here at the store.
I look forward to being a part of it on a weekly basis, whether I'm behind the counter serving customers or whether I get involved in the conversation. I'm just happy to be a part of what you have going on.
Super. Thank you. Yeah, we're working together as a team, man. We're a team. Okay. Plus, also a big thank you to you guys, our listeners. With our listeners, I used to be talking to dead air, wouldn't we? All right. Okay. Thank you, and good night. Okay. Thank you, and good night.
So what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.